What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. Today we will be finishing off the Riftlord run with Brass. Now, she's gone through her 2.6.1 changes, meaning that her cannonball's a little bit slower. The Weavers are actually in a situation where I think one of them does not work right now. It's the Scraphoom Weaver. It's my favorite one, so kind of sad about that. Hopefully, and whatever the next hot fix is, we get a fix for that, and we're going to do something similar to what we did with Elin. Took me a second to think of that, but we're going to do it in a way that optimizes it so we don't actually have to travel quite as much to get the same effect. We want to use a good amount of fire traps, not ice, just fire. And we're going to use the swinging mace just because I love that trap here. And then we're going to pick up the ballista. Now, the important thing that we're going to do here is really just the build order. Of course, we will be using the mending root and the ring of last stand. The mending root may not even be as necessary as it was before, but we're going to use it anyway. If you are unaware, Brass's health has been doubled from what it used to be to encourage people, I believe, to use her wrench more often. It was kind of dangerous before. You could get hit by a couple of light enemies and you just die. Now it is a bit more usable in situations where the enemies don't significantly outlevel you, so it still may be a bit too risky and endless, but it worked out okay here. So we're not going to focus too much on damage over here. We just want something that'll slow the enemies down. Either of these two guardians will work. A ring of last stand. We may not need that either. I just don't want to have to spend anything. So why don't we try ring of last stand and the ring of teleportation. That gives us access to some more mobility in the event that we need it, just because Brass doesn't really have too much on her own. And we do need to be able to get from place to place, so I will probably prioritize the placing of the stable hand guardian over the priest. But that's going to be the deck. Let's go ahead and hop in.
Tiny but effective.
See, like, there were so many things that came into my mind there, and like 90% of them were not good.
Genius setup. Each trap to be placed perfectly.
Okay. Remember that if you don't have a purple gate directly in front of you, you can shoot floor scorchers through it, or pretty much any other projectile you may want. So it's a good idea to do it. We're going to start off by placing one of the barricades to block this area off early.
Maybe one over here.
Just because we don't want to have to deal with that crap later. That said, we are also going to... Nah, let's place that a little bit closer. There we go.
The enemy has opened a minion portal.
Alright. So there's a chicken man. We need a theme song for the chicken man. Like, him being just that good of a guardian, I think he deserves his own theme song. Oh, I haven't even set up our buddy the turret yet. So one of the changes that was made to Brass is that she generates less scrap automatically than what she used to. No, you messed up my rhythm, dude. I think that was actually blocking my shots. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. So here we go. The new options for Brass at tier 1, because her weavers have been remixed, if you will, are to either get the brass bomb damage, the bonus scrap, or the extra health on the turret. We're going to take the scrap pile because That's what we really want. That, and with Scrap Home being sort of out of commission,
It must be destroyed.
we're going to need all of the damage that we can get. You still get that funny, like, graphic thing where we're just shooting into oblivion from wherever our rift is, or I guess towards our rift from the gun. All right.
Heroes destroyed the unstable rift.
And Brass's absolutely ridiculous damage helps that out just a bit. Yeah, man, her movement is just not amazing. However, all of this damage, yeah, that's good. All right, we're just gonna dispel this. Sell the majority of this here. Oh, don't want to get shot. Oh. And then we're gonna move everything over here.
The enemy army is attacking on another front.
We need to block this area off
That looks like
now.
a trap for a reason.
All right, with the snark. So with the left side blockaded off successfully, we can now move over here.
This will be useful.
Only when properly released.
And don't forget to place the 2 BGH ballista there. They will give you the most help with everything that will displease you later on. I don't think that orc exactly knew what was going on. So this is sort of the happy place for your gun here. This is where most of the enemies will be routing. There we go, tier 2. It will lure some enemies here. Your guardian can hit it. Pretty much everything can really just do its job. And I really want to pick Scrap Home, but like I said before, it doesn't work. So we're gonna go for the Stunning Cannonball, which is also a really good ability, but because of the change to the cooldown time for the Cannonball, it's not quite as strong as it used to be. Now Cannonball has a 6-second cooldown instead of 4 base, so that 1 second stun isn't 25% of the cooldown, it's like a 1/6, and that's just not as good, you know? You keep on guarding, buddy.
Unstable rift is opening. Quick, destroy it. Wait till they come through here.
So we're just gonna portal back because that's quicker, and I'm slow. Gonna leave him up. I tried to leave him a present. Apparently I'm not good at it. I'll take those, thank you. And now everybody seems to be sort of getting over to where most of our damage is. I'm expecting Dread to die like momentarily, but it just doesn't seem to have happened yet.
The boss minion has been taken down.
Alright, the turret did its job. Alright, don't want to place too much over there now, knowing that I still need more things over here. Just gonna place those 2, slow these guys. A little bit of Bernie bits outside. Alright, and now, even though I'm basically blowing all of my coin over here, we are going to be saving up a good amount of coin. We need at least, with the current discounts on my traps, about 4,200 to successfully barricade off the left gate. Now, if you do not have stamp parts on your Great Wall Barricade, if you happen to be using the Great Wall Barricade anyway, you are going to need
Maybe one over here.
about an extra, what,
Another over here.
950?
The right setup for the most combos.
I don't know, I can't math right now, my hair's fuzzy. It's 250, no, 350 discount. So 350 twice, 700, no, an extra 1,050. Okay, there we go. Eventually the math worked. That means I probably should eat something. I don't think I've eaten today. and it is about 3 or 4 p.m. So that would probably be a good idea for me. So this is interesting. Tier 3 upgrades have basically been changed around so that you can increase the scrap pickup by 5. You get more scrap with the pickup now, so a flat increase isn't as good. The lack of generation of the scrap automatically adds to that not being as good as well. Whereas the brass bomb cache is just as good as it ever was.
They've broken through a gate.
Okay. And the extra damage on the turret is actually pretty nice.
Well done. The unstable rift has been destroyed.
So I think I'm gonna go with the brass bomb still. It is her best skill. It's very powerful and can't really be underestimated. Just because the ability to have it damage large groups, especially since the bug where it would not damage totems and mercenaries, I believe has been fixed. So there's all sorts of good things with it now that were not there before. No, you don't. Just in time. Alright, you need to die a little bit quicker. Still good on time though. Let's see what we're going to do next. We do have our big husky bros coming from the upper left, so we need to get our husky bro deterrence up. Those are already kind of started.
This will be useful.
All right, set up the husky bro slow.
Right through here. Another genius setup.
And then we make sure that we make the bros are on fire too. The main thing there is just, you know, the good old swinging mace doing its thing. That's just mayhem, just running through, spamming down mines. Alright, so these really haven't changed that much, unfortunately. You have the cannonball coming, which is still the best. It should take overall about 2 seconds off of the cooldown. Junkyard, which is a little bit more useful due to the fact that scrap doesn't automatically generate, but it's still like a really low quantity considering it would take about 14 seconds by default. No, that's not right.
A boss is on its way.
It would take about 8 seconds by default to generate a mine. Mines have been reduced to, I think, 15 cost. 7 now since I have the 50% cost reduction. And that basically makes it so that you get a mine every 4 seconds. Now, if I was doing something like endless, then I would probably seriously consider taking Junkyard, just because not having to actually enter combat to place mines is a super good thing, because it keeps you safe. And being safe is really what the key would be there. Gotta be careful with those guys. The only reason they really get that far, can push that hard, is because of good old Lysander. But eventually he gets shot in the dome a few times and he goes poof. Now, your biggest issue with this area ever is just going to be making sure that these guys are on fire enough.
Each trap to be placed perfectly.
Can't really do much there, but you can do some of this.
The right setup for the most combos.
None of these are actually going to kill anything, but
Right there.
hopefully
Wait till they come through here. Maybe one over here.
they sort of keep them occupied long enough so that you don't really have to worry.
Barricades are under attack.
Look, dudes, leave my barricades alone. The goal is really just to keep the trolls burnt enough so that they don't have full HP when you get to them. They're not really going to die from a small amount of fire damage just being refreshed repeatedly, but at the same time, having half health is a lot easier to take down than having full health. And the glitch where she seems to be firing through the shields is still a thing. I mean, granted, that's a very beneficial one, but if it ain't supposed to be built in, it shouldn't be happening. Alright, now that that's over, we can sort of prep this for the final carnage.
The right setup for the most combos. Each trap to be placed perfectly.
Alright.
Another over here.
Watch out! An unstable rift is opening. Get
Good
to
thing
it
I
and
was
destroy
already
it.
down here. We're just gonna splash a few of these around.
Can't do that yet.
And by a few, I mean way too many.
Woohoo!
We have destroyed the unstable rift.
So I'm really not worried about the fire ogres at the top. They're really not gonna do too much. If I placed,
Our barricades are under attack.
like they may at best take out that single barricade that I have down there, which really wouldn't be nice, but won't cost me that much. And by the time you get around this wave, everything that's going to kill them should basically be set up. Alright. Now I believe we have to deal with the rum rudder, and then after that it's business as usual down here. You do want to try to get these ballista out as soon as you can though. Rum rudder should basically just be shot to pieces. Jeez, I didn't even need the BGHs. Alright. Stacking mines for the win. I'm just going to drop this guy to help me move around a bit quicker. And this is just a horrible, horrible place, because you cannot automate the destruction of that particular rift ever. It's just not possible. Okay, everything that would even be slightly important at the top is basically dead already, so I don't have to worry about them. We're gonna do a bit of this, and we need one more slow here.
Right there.
Okay, I think that's good. Mostly the swinging maces are going to clean up everything that doubles back between the two corridors there, because they are great at doing their job.
This will be useful.
Just a little bit more. Now I think there's a couple of things I can do to make this a little bit better. I could, of course, place a Spitfire in here somewhere. Or we could just bomb them. Bombing them is good. Keeping an eye on the bottom gate there just to see what manages to come through. If anything,
Boss is on his way.
we got one enemy that was on fire and managed to come through and then die. The boss that we have coming through here is 2 before. Now we can actually strengthen this area a bit by making sure the enemies are on fire just a tad more.
Boss minion defeated.
Those stuns, man. I have a controlled resonator in my BGH ballistas, so that stun actually allowed them to do a lot more damage than what they do base, I believe. Lovely, and now we can fill this area out, because there's a whole nother ceiling to place ballista on back here. And everything's pretty much automated from here on. Anything that actually passed over here is just giving itself more time to die. The trolls and everything that are going to be coming through here are going to get burned and shot up, so they're not really of any import whatsoever. Although if you want to build more traps up there, they will die quicker. That looks like a mercenary that lost to my guardian.
This'll give a critter or two.
There's just so much scrap around now. So scrap really doesn't feel like it's lost its value or is very uncommon still. It's just not a situation where you feel like you have to spam bombs because so much scrap exists, which is good. Because I think that sort of just made it so that everybody always took Brass's bombs, even though it's still one of her best abilities, if not the best. It made the other one seem a bit more lackluster. And because of the nerfing of Cannonball, or I should say the retooling, it hasn't really been nerfed. It does about the same amount of damage over time outside of Unchained. It just makes it so that there's still a reason to not choose like 100% brass bomb buffs. Kind of. I mean, you still want all the brass bomb buffs. They're not bad at all. They haven't really been made worse.
Always bring plenty of bombs to a gunfight.
Now that's interesting. I don't know anybody else that would be able to jump and do a cartwheel mid-air. Sorry about the stretch there. Wow, beat Elin's score. Okay, so we are pretty much a stage or two away from level 100, which is great. And we have finished everything with brass. So I am going to start working on the Elin and brass hero overview videos, just so I can go a bit more in depth with what the tools and abilities of the characters are. And I'm going to check on the poll that I placed a while back asking what you guys wanted the next couple of heroes to be, and I'll get working on those. Either way, let me know what you guys think of brass. Before, after the retooling, how do you like the changes and the bug fixes that came with the 2.6.1 patch? And what do you guys think about Orcs overall in its current state? I have no idea what the developers are planning for the near future, so that would be interesting to speculate about too, I guess. But either way, I'll still be playing and I'll still be putting out videos for you guys. So thanks as always for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate it. And until next time, as always, have a good one, folks.